the great causes that we've seen, at least in Australia, has been from the cruise ship industry. We're seeing this standoff, not just New South Wales, where there are 5 ships they're trying to deal with, but the Artania in Fremantle, which Mark McGowan, the Premier there in WA, says it's been the hardest thing he's ever had to manage.
Incredible, and incredible story, this cruise ship business, isn't it, Kieran? So, look, in the last hour I've spoken to a WA government source who tells me that the WA Premier Mark McGowan and Scott Morrison spoke on the weekend about this matter. The belief of the WA government is that this ship is riddled with coronavirus. The Australian Border Force has issued a directive for the ship to leave, but they've asked for an extension until April 14. Mark McGowan does not want it to stay there till April 14 because cases could get worse, and that is going to fill his ICU beds. So that is why he's asking the federal government basically to push the ship offshore. So again, the comments he made there, I think we've got more tension between state and federal governments over the coronavirus issue. And when we talk about cruise ships, I just think it's important to pull up this pie chart again to show you how much cruise ships are responsible for this crisis in Australia. So up the top is Europe, dark blue. Down the bottom there are the Americas, where the cases are from. Not many from China. We instituted a travel ban. Up top right, all the cases we've had from cruise ships. No wonder WA and New South Wales just want to push these things out to sea, Kieran. We saw New South Wales manage that with 1 overnight. The sooner we can see the back of these things, apart from Australian citizens, the better.
Andrew, thank you. We'll talk to you soon. And on that WA crisis, which continues, the Artania requesting to stay another fortnight. Let's go live to Fremantle Port. Emily Evans joins me live now. Emily, give us the latest there. What's happening? Obviously, Mark McGowan, he was visibly stressed by this ongoing standoff.
That's right, Kieran, and it's not overly surprising. It's been a nightmare scenario for the West Australian government in regards to the Artania. In the past couple of minutes, I've actually just seen 2 ambulances drive down towards the Fremantle Port entrance where the Artania is currently docked. Health officials were sent on board the ship to assess 12 passengers who remain on board the Artania, as well as some crew members who have reported feeling unwell. Now, the state government had previously not known that these passengers remained on the Artania, but the Attorney General, Christian Porter, claims that they were too sick to fly home. Now, this ship was due to leave Fremantle Port today after what has been a nightmare scenario. 41 confirmed cases of coronavirus have come from the Artania. At least 20 of those people are currently being treated at Joondalup Health Campus here in Perth. The rest of the healthy passengers were flown back to Germany on chartered flights over the weekend. The crew have since asked for the Australian Border Force to remain here at Fremantle Port for another 2 weeks to determine whether those remaining passengers and the crew on board have actually contracted coronavirus or not. It's also asked for assistance in deep cleaning the vessel. Now, the West Australian Premier hasn't been shy about the fact that he wants to see this vessel gone. He's even been supportive of the idea of sending the Artania to Christmas Island, but Mark McGowan insists it's up to the federal government to handle the situation.
There needs to be urgency around this. Sydney has 6 or 9 ships, I get various reports, are sitting off its coast or in Sydney Harbour. They've got a much bigger problem than we do. But what I don't want to see is the Artania sit there and potentially attract ships from somewhere else on the basis that you can stay in Fremantle. The cruise ship situation has been one of the great frustrations of my life, and the last 2 weeks or so dealing with this has been incredibly difficult. But it's been difficult for everyone, and I have some sympathy. I'm not trying to make this political. I just want urgency at a Commonwealth level to deal with the matter and get it away.
Kieran, depending on the assessments by those WA health officials, the 12 passengers will either be sent to hotels here in Perth, or if anyone tests positive to COVID-19, they'll be treated here in hospitals.
Emily, thank you for the update. WA, meantime, has set up internal borders in a drastic bid to stop any unnecessary travel. The unprecedented move has effectively divided the state into 9 separate territories, preventing residents from outside areas entering another region. Exemptions apply for those travelling to work, medical appointments, freight and on compassionate grounds.
Freight has moved relatively quickly, even though people have been at times lined up at the crossings as to whether or not they can go through. I'm advised some people have been turned back on some of the locations. So it appears it's all working relatively smoothly, even though I understand some people may be frustrated. And if people are frustrated, hopefully that means the message is getting through.